Hi, producer Jonathan here. Due to a technical glitch, the audio quality of this episode of Nobody Asked Our Opinion is significantly lower than normal. Unfortunately, it was not something that I could correct in post-production, but we as a team didn't want that to keep you from hearing it. So, instead of tossing it into the unaired archive, I present it to you here in low fidelity with an apology. I'm sorry.
Welcome to Nobody Asked Our Opinion, a podcast where two idiots sit down and give their opinions on a whole bunch of pop culture and bullshit. This idiot's Joanna.
And this idiot's Jay Jay.
And you guys are in for a fun and wild ride because we have gotten zero to no sleep last night because JJ and I were listening to every performance ever of The Masked Singer that was worth listening to. And also some really pretty songs from The Voice. Also a shout out to Cam Anthony for winning The Voice because you were amazing.
Yeah.
Well deserved, beautiful voice.
At one point I just said, just play me pretty things.
And that pretty thing lasted for about 3 hours. So this is what you get. Also, more 3-part harmonies in the world, please. And Hanson was robbed on The Masked Singer.
Come at us.
Come at us. Wiz Khalifa did not need to go that far.
No.
Especially on the week that Hanson went home, he did a Snoop Dogg song, and it was not great. I mean, it wasn't bad, but it also wasn't showing off anything. Because the interesting part is to drop it a lot, or what the background does.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's where all of the melody and the fun is. And yeah, his flow was great, but you also spend the first several beats of that song with him just going
Yeah.
drop it like it's hot. And so it's not interesting. It's not interesting.
And Wiz Khalifa does not deserve to be on the same stage as Leann Rimes. That is blasphemy. That should have been Hanson.
That should have been Hanson, and this all started because I said, "Oh look, here's Leann Rimes. She came back onto The Masked Singer." And
fucked my mind up.
The winners are the top 3 saying, "How do I live?" with Leann Rimes. And she changed up the opening of that song into this beautiful, breathy, ethereal,
It was like she was a goddess from another fantasy realm. It literally I was crying. So that 30 seconds of music destroyed my soul.
There were literal tears, and for longtime listeners of the pod, you realize that JJ has a notorious heart of stone.
I have no soul. But
Leann Rimes pulled the soul from
Leann Rimes touched my heart, and now I feel emotions.
There's a small crack in the stone, and it is all thanks to Miss Leann Rimes.
So shout out to Leann Rimes.
And if anybody has access to Leann Rimes, let her know that we love her, and to call in for the pod. And by call in, I mean send us an email, and we'll get her on via Zoom and just tell her how amazing she is.
Absolutely.
We can have her on right after Kelly Clarkson.
Yeah, we'll make it a kind of a duo meeting or something like that. We can.
I like Kelly Clarkson and Leann Rimes to sing together now.
I was just gonna go there, and I don't know if my body can handle that. Leann Rimes wrecked my soul in 30 seconds. I don't know what Kelly Clarkson, Leann Rimes duet is gonna do.
You literally looked at me while we were watching that because JoJo starts singing after Leann Rimes. You're like, I don't think I can handle this. And then Nick Lachey starts singing, and you're like, oh. And then Wiz Khalifa brought us all back to down to earth.
And we're like, okay, now we're grounded.
And we're fine. It's great. So if we go off the rails a bit today, zero sleep and pretty music. So. Word up. But because I mentioned our homegirl, Kelly Clarkson, deep friend of the pod, the Kelly Clarkson show is going to replace Ellen's time slot.
And that's so exciting because Kelly Clarkson deserves it.
And she is such good entertainment, and she provides a similar type of entertainment without tormenting the people on her employees or the people who come on her show. So, it really, at the end of the day, the only person who has made a fool on the Kelly Clarkson show is Kelly Clarkson. And I would have it no other way.
Yeah.
Because I'm just like her. She's highly competitive. Like, have you watched Kelly Clarkson on the Kelly Clarkson show do, like, trivia games with her, or, like, any sort of game with her guests?
I think I saw one where they had, I think it was like a voice style. They had like big sticks with hands and press
Yes.
buttons. I saw that.
She's wildly competitive.
Yeah.
Wildly. And it's so good. It's so funny. She's like Pluckatina Aguilera when she doesn't win. Like, she's so mad. But she like still gives everybody their props because she was like really wanted to win. And it's so funny. And I want all the good things for her. So congratulations, Kelly Clarkson, and to everybody on the Kelly Clarkson show for taking that prime time slot.
And I really hope that y'all will tune in because she really fucking deserves it, guys.
Give her the ratings.
Give her the ratings. She is so much better. She's just a better person than Evelyn. And she's wickedly talented.
And she's also like, she cares about the people she employs. Her band on the Kelly Clarkson show has been her band for like every single tour that she's done.
It basically since like she won American Idol, like when she was going on tour, this was her band.
And she has kept them employed during times when musicians weren't employed. Like when they hit the pandemic, they were performing via Zoom. Like she was making sure her people stayed employed, and that is something that Ellen did not do during the pandemic.
No.
So watch a show with integrity. Kelly Clarkson, we love you. We think you're wonderful, and you deserve all of the goodness. And please come on our podcast.
You have to be our friends.
Be friends with us. Even if you don't want to come on our podcast, just be our friend. Just like,
or like yell at me, like call me an idiot, call me stupid.
I don't think Kelly has that within her.
I will bring out of her. I would do anything just to have her just speak in the same way that I did.
Hey, Kelly, we're both also hyper competitive. We'll play games with you.
We'll play games, yes. We love all the games.
We have so many board. Like, play games with us.
We have all the games, and then you can just like sing for.
And sing. We like to sing. We don't sing as well as you do, but we'll sing too.
I have a piano. We can do some.
We can jam. Oh,
it's my life. It's my life dream to have you. I want Kelly Clarkson to sing "If I Got You" with me accompanying her at the piano. That's my life dream.
So y'all heard it. This is the goal in life.
You guys
so
help me manifest this.
Make it happen.
Make it happen.
Get this to Kelly Clarkson.
Pronto.
Please. Because we stand probably no one higher than Kelly Clarkson. And apparently Leann Rimes right underneath it right now.
Wow, damn.
Although slot number 2 is subject to change on a weekly basis.
Yeah, we'll get back to you on that.
But there we are. So speaking of things that we stay consistent on our TV show, hey, we got some more Seth Rogan news. We're changing the world.
Because we're fucking holding this asshole accountable.
Because we're the only people that do so.
But yeah, in a recent interview, he admits that probably some of my jokes in my older movies, they probably didn't age well, and they're probably just wildly offensive. And
or movies in general.
Yeah, and you know, he explains that like it'd be stupid for me not to acknowledge that. We're in a time where comedians, when they are called out on some of their past content, usually either double down on it and be like, no, that's just comedy, and that's, you know, comedy's supposed to kind of be that edgy or whatever, or they just like give fake apologies.
I'm so sorry.
I'm so sorry. Kevin Hart.
I'm making this video because I have a sincere apology. Yeah, no, any video that starts with "I am making this video because" can immediately be thrown in the trash.
No, because you're not being sincere. No.
So yeah, just admit that you fucked up and that you're going to do better. That's all we ask.
Yeah, and it's great that Seth Rogan can be like, yeah, I've done fucked up, and I'm going to try to move forward and be better about the jokes that I say, and try to be more conscientious about that, which is all we really ask for.
It is all we ask for. You know what? We
fucking nice.
Thank you, Seth Rogan, for listening to us. We appreciate that.
Now, can you kind of address all the sexual misconduct on your fucking movies?
I mean, baby steps, I guess, but yeah, like that's the next step. So
we'll get there. We'll get there. We believe in you.
We do. Speaking of people who are assholes, Kevin Spacey's returning to acting in an Italian film.
Kind of. I mean, it's
like a small cameo role,
super small cameo in like a foreign film.
It's an Italian film.
He's seems like he's scraping the bottom of the barrel to get some work.
But honestly, I'm still upset that even he got that. He really shouldn't be able to do anything anymore because he's garbage. He's a predator and he's terrible. And so I just think, I literally saw the news and went, gross.
Gross, yeah.
And that's all we're going to say on that because that's all the time we have for Kevin Spacey in our lives.
But you know who we do have time for?
Who do we have time for?
We have time for Elliot Page.
Fuck yes, we have time for Elliot Page. I love him.
And he released I think on Instagram, his first time in swim trunks photo.
Yeah.
Post top surgery, scars and all. And just celebrating his new body, just living his fucking dream of being the person that he wants to be.
And also, Elliot Page looks really good.
He's fucking cut. I'm like, that's really
good. Like, the only thing that offends me is that his body looks that good so quickly. I'm so angry that I don't look that well. But I also don't have that Hollywood money, so I get it. But we also stand Elliot Page here, and we are so happy that he is living his best life and is confident enough to be able to go out and show off his body.
And that's the thing, it's confidence, because I think a lot of members of the trans community they feel very self-conscious about their surgery scars and like showing it in public and be like, oh, I don't want it to be like a thing, or to see Elliot Page and just fully embrace it and be like, I'm me finally, y'all. I'm finally making steps to being the truest me. And that's fucking inspiring.
It is fucking inspiring. I love it. I'm so happy. I'm so excited that we're seeing just happiness glow from Elliot. And we wish you all the happiness, Elliot. We are excited for you.
Yeah, fuck off haters.
Yeah, and haters back up.
Jesus Christ. Goddamn.
His body is none of your business, unless you're here to just say yes, which we are. So
absolutely.
But even then, it's still none of our business. We're commenting on a public photo and just saying, yeah.
Yeah, you look good. And get it. Be confident. Body positivity. Do it.
Yes. In conjunction with our report last week on Lizzo, who said it's okay to be sad, Ryan Reynolds tells us it's okay to deal with anxiety.
Yeah, in a recent interview, he's kind of opened up a little bit about his struggles with anxiety, especially when it comes to living up to the hype of himself.
Living up to the standards that we as a society has placed upon him to live up to.
Yeah, so like it's really, again, to have a wildly popular celebrity kind of bring more light into like the issues of mental health, but also like a male.
Yeah,
there is a lot of men that also deal with mental illness that oftentimes they ignore, or what generally seems to be kind of like the sort of almost the popular belief that like they just try to mask their emotions with like they'll turn to drugs or alcohol and things like that, and we always treat like those kind of symptoms, but never really talk about like the mental illness aspect of that.
And how we got to that situation.
So it's especially for, I think, is June Mental Health Month, Mental Health Awareness Month, or May? I think May was
Mental Health Awareness.
Yeah. And so it's it's a timely moment to kind of talk about issues like that, and I'm glad that Ryan Reynolds, who I fucking love Ryan Reynolds, I forget like how charming he is. He's a fucking beautiful creature. We ignore the fact that he was in that stupid Green Lantern movie and that he was that awful. We don't acknowledge his first iteration of Deadpool.
Oh, yeah. What's great though is that Ryan Reynolds, like not too long ago, sat down and like live tweeted him watching Green Lantern since it first came out, and eventually was just like, yeah, like, is it cringy? Absolutely, but there was a lot of hard work, and we need to honor the people that like put the hard work into it. And he goes, it's not as bad as I remember it being, and because really, like, there's like. Again, there's lots of people that put lots of work into making a movie, even the bad ones. And trust me, we talk a lot about the bad ones. But I love that he just sat down and was just like, oh, why do I look like that? Oh, why did that? Oh, okay.
That was a choice.
No, those are choices.
And he met his wife on the set of Green Lantern. So
he did, and they were both dating other people. I love their story of how they got together because they went on a double date with other people, and their dates were like, well, okay then. Clearly, this isn't working.
This is not working out. And they're awesome.
They're wonderful.
So kudos to Ryan Reynolds. I'm glad that you're speaking out and trying to help destigmatize the mental health and mental health issues, and embracing your struggles with anxiety, because we all fucking do.
We do.
We all do, and to pretend that like celebrities don't get to is stupid, because they are just as human as we are. They just happen to have a camera on them all the time.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
So in sad news, last week my child had died.
All of our childhoods died.
So Samuel Wright, the voice of Sebastian the Crab in the Little Mermaid movies, passed away at age 74, and Eric Carle, the creator of The Very Hungry Caterpillar and all of those wonderful books, passed away at age 91. My childhood is sad.
My childhood is dead now. that's what this is.
I mean, yeah, slowly but surely. And so we send our love and our condolences to their families and to everyone who is saddened by this news, because it is heart-wrenching. And we are devastated, but that is the way of life, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But sometimes in great tragedy, we see some happiness. Howard University renames the College of Fine Arts after Chadwick Boseman.
Yeah, that's pretty fucking awesome.
It's wonderful, and I think that is a great, lasting tribute to a great man.
Yeah, I think I'm trying to look at. I'm looking through the article now. I'm trying to. What's the official title for the building?
I never saw an official title. I just saw that it was named after him.
Yeah, I'm trying to see what they're naming the. So they're building like a new state of the art buildings on campus, and the new building that will house the College of Fine Arts will be called the Chadwick A. Boseman College of Fine Arts, along with the Kathy Hughes School of Communications, which will house a TV station and radio station.
That is phenomenal. I'm here for that knowledge.
So, also, yeah, it's a great way to kind of and to give this man who's arguably probably the most acclaimed alum of Howard University. I think at least one could argue, and it's a great way to kind of commemorate the life of this man who's
taken far too soon.
Far too soon, and has done so much with his career and has done a lot for his community. That this is a well-deserved.
No, absolutely, I think so. That we don't always find the best ways to honor the celebrities who have done well for the community, and I think this is a fitting, lasting tribute that people will always be aware, especially the students that go to Howard University, that Chadwick Boseman was a great man who empower many people to be
yeah. I remember when, Black Panther came out and just like this, just all the just the pride and just finally seeing like an African American man in a superhero leading role.
Yeah.
As wildly, popular as the Black Panther movies were.
Just one. There was just one movie.
The Black Panther movie was English at this time.
Yeah. Still writing the show.
But just like I remember there, I think it was on Jimmy Fallon. He had like people just talk to a poster of the Black Panther.
Oh, and he was hiding behind it.
And he was hiding behind it, and they were just like, just saying like how much it means to see a person like me on the screen, and just like what it means for my grandchildren and my children, and have them pop out, and they're just like. They're just like screaming with like excitement and just like immediate tears because they're like overwhelmed with all this like feeling.
Oh yeah, no, that's a surefire way to make Joanna cry immediately. It's put on shit like that, but it's so good. It's so wonderful and sweet. Yeah. And shall we move on to some Drag Race?
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Oh my god, such Drag Race.
So much breakfast week. So we are going to do our Drag Race 20, where I set a timer for exactly 20 minutes, and for 20 minutes only, we will talk about Drag Race, because when left to our own devices, we will speak about Drag Race until the end of time.
Yeah, you do not want to be here for that.
And then we don't want to subject anybody to that, particularly our producer, Jonathan, because we want him to continue to produce our podcast, and if we went off the rails for too long, he would leave.
He just packed up shit. Yeah. He's like, fuck this.
And he's laughing at me in the corner because he knows it's true. So I'm going to set the timer. We're going to talk about all of the things in 3, 2, 1, and we're going.
Okay, so
let's talk again.
Mini challenge, reading challenge. Love this challenge.
Oh, the reading challenge is great.
There were some good reads.
Oh, I'm trying to remember who I thought should have won, because whoever won, I was like, Matt. No, I thought Ketamine should have won.
Ketamine should have won.
Yeah, Ketamine should have won. Ketamine was amazing. She was my favorite thing ever was when she goes, electroshock, man.
And
I died. Yep. It was so good. I loved the reading chat, but overall, like, there wasn't too many, like, I think Scarlett Adams is the only one who's really booger boots.
I'm trying to think, was it Scarlett or what's her face? I can't remember now.
I think it was Scarlett. I think somebody else like kind of struggled, but Scarlett was like, you're like, oh, you're not good at this. And she even said she was like,
Sarah? Was it Sarah?
No, I think it's Sarah. No, Sarah's sharp. She's quick. I think Electra struggled a little bit.
It was Electra. That's
because Electroshock is our resident struggle bus.
But
she's
funny though.
She is funny. No, she struggled a little bit, but not all of hers were dead like Scarlett's were. And then we got an acting challenge. It was like they had to like write their own stuff. So it wasn't a scripted acting challenge. It was a create your own advert for
basically their own version of Vegemite.
Yeah, for yeast spread.
Yeast spread.
That's what they call it down under. Yeast spread, and some of them were really raunchy.
Yeah, I mean, some judges were like, I think, et ceteras, they were like, yeah, you don't need to always go for
full-on vulgar. Well, because hers was called piss.
She just called, yeah.
Hers was just called piss.
Just piss.
It did ride. It wasn't riding the line. It crossed the line, waved to the line, and then took a bus further out. Hers went pretty far. Scarlett's went pretty far. But
oh yeah, what was hers? Was hers? No, that was. Whose was just called Discharge? Was that Karen from Finance?
Yes, I think Karen from Finance is Discharge. And regardless, Electroshock won, and I thought she deserved it. It was so funny.
I love it.
It was so funny.
So funny. During the commercial, she was like listing the famous Drag Race phrase,
charisma,
and she like spells it out, and we're like, charisma. It's got uniqueness, nerve.
And then you see the CUN, and you're like, oh, are we going for it?
We're gonna go for this.
And she goes,
and talent. And we're like, that's the best way to like imply.
Oh yeah, it was a
but
very
not
good,
cross that line.
It was a very good week to the camera moment.
Absolutely.
And it was so funny. It was so well done. I loved her really crappy, like Trixie Mattel RuPaul.
Oh my gosh.
With a really bad wig.
Really bad wig.
But she did like the winner chicken dinner Trixie Mattel like head movement, which took it to like that level of like just ridiculousness. But she was just basically going like, your looks suck. And then she paused, and then comes to her and said, is this you?
This was me.
Because this was me. Let's fix this. And it was just so well done. It was so well organized. It was funny. It was great. Ketamine also had a good showing. Also, the runways looked really good.
What was the runway challenge? This was
Best Sheila the Bush, I think.
Something like that, yeah.
It was pretty ambiguous who it was because everything looks so different. And you're like, there's no cohesive theme happening here.
Like, Maxi Shield came out looking literally like Mary Poppins.
Yeah, because she came out in this really pretty, like, it was supposed to be like a Sunday in the Park with George kind of moment.
Right.
But you were like, oh, that's pretty. But then you have like a Scarlett Adams coming out as literally like an outfit from Priscilla Queen, and it doesn't. You're like,
I don't understand this right away.
I was literally so confused. I was like, I didn't get it. Well, because Electra came out, and you're like, oh, because she has like the bird on her thing. You're like, okay, they're going for like animal theme. And then Karen comes out, and you're like, nope, we're not going with animal themes.
I don't know what's going on.
And so you're just kind of watching like, okay. But our bottom two was Maxi Shield
and et
cetera.
And looking back, I think of the girls, Maxi did kind of like
That bitch had a microphone up her sleeve, and it was so funny.
Yeah.
She just also she turns around and then like away from the cameras, and she turns around again with her microphone. I was like, this bitch just won.
Yeah. She definitely won the lip sync.
She knew what she was doing. I mean, etc. had a really good showing, but it just didn't have the charisma that Maxi threw into that lip sync. With that microphone. And then I love at the end when Rue goes, Maxi Shield, Shantae, you stay. She puts the microphone up to her mouth and says, thank you. Yeah,
absolutely.
The microphone's not connected to anything.
It is
just a prop.
It's just a prop.
It's so funny. Okay, and so sadly we say goodbye to etc. etc. I will miss her shade. All of her shade.
Yeah, and she was funny. I was really starting to like her. She was giving me very Ahura vibes.
Yeah. But of the two, like, as we were sitting there, I was like, please, Maxi, pull this out. I really like Maxi Shield.
So she did so well in the last week's challenge too. And so we're like, no,
you can't go yet.
Once more.
Because I was not about to have another Anita Wiglet moment. I'm going to flip tables.
No.
But let's talk
more
about
importantly,
let's talk about the blackface in the room.
Yes, let's talk about them finally addressing Scarlett Adams' problematic blackface photos that came up on Instagram.
So I wonder which producer told or said, "Hey, who's done something they regret?" And which producer said, "You have to talk about this.
You need to talk about this. We need to get this on film."
Because I'm wondering, either that or she, either that or the producers didn't tell her to say anything. But they definitely told whoever asked the question, I think it was etc. Whoever asked the question was definitely prompted to say, ask about if anybody regrets anything, because like that'll be a great question starter. She was probably like, all right. And it was not saying that coming. Because everybody, like, it was so, she's like, so I've done blackface, and literally every queen in the room went, what?
Yeah.
It was dead silence, eyes wide open, staring. And I was like, work.
Yeah.
And instead of let her have it, she was like, I don't understand why. No, absolutely. I was here for it. I was like, she was just like, I don't understand why anybody would ever use their platform to tear down an entire society that faces systemic racism. Like, I don't
know. As a joke.
Like, I don't understand. Why would you do that? Why would you make fun of an entire race of people? And we addressed it. And then not only that, Rue addresses it on the runway.
And what's great was that, I don't know if you noticed this, but there's very few moments on the show where there's no background music.
Yeah.
Under silence.
Yep.
Under silence. No, the only thing you hear is Scarlett Adams like profusely apologizing and in saying like how much she regrets her decisions and how much she's trying to do her best to make better choices moving forward and try and do better as far as
I hope this is a sincere moment, because when she was announced on Drag Race, those pictures were still on her Instagram.
Yeah, and people called her out on it.
And so for me though, that's the moment where she knew it was wrong, and by this point she's already had this conversation on the runway with Rue, because she was announced. They do the casting announcement after they filmed, so that show has been done.
She definitely had time to take those photos out.
Yeah. But it was also something that she said, though, the way she said it, she was already being called out for it before she went to Drag Race. So this is something she was being called out for like a year ago, and they were still on her page.
I was just thinking about the timeline, like on how all this kind of went down between right before the premiere, her those photos kind of resurfacing, and then them talking about this during the filming. So I was like, okay, so then it was clear that this was addressed even before, even the cast was even announced, and so it's pretty suspect that even at this point, she's still those photos. I haven't checked recently.
I started to look and I couldn't find anything, so I think they're gone now. But there's also been a lot of Drag Race content to bury it in her Instagram, but I didn't see anything. I did see she had an IG, an Instagram. Words are hard.
Live?
It wasn't an Instagram live. It was
real.
It wasn't a real. It was IGTV. That's the word I was looking for. So one of those longer, talking to a camera moment. And so she had one on there, but I didn't have time to watch it. So maybe we'll talk about it next week, and I'll try to watch it and see what she says. I'm assuming it's just more apology of I'm sorry. But it was addressed. Rue said that there's probably a lot of people who are going to want me to cancel you right now, but I think that we're given a point to where we can look back on our past and make better decisions.
Use this as a teachable moment, right?
Yeah.
Condemn.
Yeah, and I mean, I think that hopefully this is something that she has learned from and will grow from. And
only time will tell to see if that actually happens. I mean, Etc. even said you need to do
better.
Well, not only just better, just you need to go volunteer places. You need to do things for really make an effort and take action to correct your mistakes, because just saying it is not going to be enough.
Yes. We have 9 minutes left. Let's talk about All Stars.
Yes, because that's what we're here for. Fucking All Stars 6 finally got a cast announcement out of the blue.
Yeah, I came out of nowhere, on Wednesday.
And they were like, oh yeah, by the way, we're going to do this 2-hour live thing where we're going to announce the entire cast.
Literally was screaming at my computer. I was so excited. We have an amazing cast list. I'm going to pull it up right now while we're talking about it, but I'm so excited for the trans representation for
Kylie Love
and Jiggly.
There's so many queens that are coming back that this is, and I said this to you before, this is one of the first times that every queen, I'm excited to see what they're going to bring to the show. Since and some of which we haven't seen for a very long time. We haven't seen a Pandora forever.
Okay, I have the whole list. Okay, so we'll go person by person and hopefully not run out of time before we get to the end, but if we do,
we'll keep the gushing to a minimum.
Okay, Akira C. Davenport, season 11.
Yeah, body. She was what, top 3? She was top 4.
Top 4. She was top 4 because she she got outdanced by Evie Oddly.
Was it Evie?
It was Evie because of Silky in Brooklyn.
It was Silky in Brooklyn.
Because that was a choice. But okay, so top 4, season 11. She's fucking fierce. She looks great.
Giant ass, and twerking to the gods.
And she's like, I think that she's able to elevate a little bit more, and she's going to be able to really show off her personality more. Because we didn't get enough of her personality until later on in the season.
Yeah. Which she started letting go.
Yeah, and so I'm excited to see more.
She was wailing, crying while she was twerking in that top.
It was the best thing I've ever seen in my entire life. It's still one of my favorite challenges.
Like, what is this? Oh my god. This
So,
is
like, hers and then Brooklyn's were my two favorites. Like,
she's the level 7 vegan.
Yeah. Okay, so next we have Eureka. She's not Eureka O'Hara anymore. She's Eureka exclamation point.
Exclamation point.
From season 9 for like a few episodes before she
I think she like broke her knee or something.
She tore like her ACL.
Something like that.
And then the finalist in season 10.
And this is controversial yet brave. Of the bigger queens of RuPaul's Drag Race fandom, I think Eureka is my favorite. I know that's a little bit of shade to Latrice, and don't get me wrong. I love Neil Latrice. Like Latrice starring All Stars when she had that anal bead look, I lived. And I'm the first to grab my biscuit and sop it up. I love Latrice, but for me, I think what edges out Eureka over Latrice is that where Latrice is a little bit more traditional pageantry, which I love. I love a good pageant girl. Eureka's fashion, I feel like, is a little bit more fashion-y, a little bit more. Just a little bit more
new school. A little more new school. No, I love Eureka. I'm excited to see more of Eureka, and I'm hoping she doesn't get that shady edit. Speaking of shady edits, Ginger Minj, All-Stars 7, or Season 7 All-Stars 2. She's the first non-All-Stars 1 All-Stars contestant to come back. And I love Nika Minj.
Yeah, I love that Ginger Minj.
I love Ginger Minj. I just can't wait to hear her sing some more. I love her singing. I love her acting. I think that she has all of the challenges locked down. She even said in her promo, she's like, and now I have better clothes. And then she walks in with a fucking frog costume. But I'm here for it. But I'm here for it. I'm here for it. I want to see more Ginger Minj. Just like I'm ready for, she's back again. Jan from season 12.
Experience
the Chantasy. After a great showing from her sister Rosé, we are hoping to see. I want to see another face crack of the century, and I want to see.
Or maybe she actually gets.
Or maybe she actually wins the singing competition.
Like, wouldn't that be
that'd be another great face crack, especially because there are like singers on this season. I would love to see her win though, because I think she has but like a more defined vocal range than a Ginger Minj. Because she can hit those top notes higher.
I think Jan is more pop when Ginger is more
Broadway. So I'm excited.
She's more like character singer rather than like a pop star like Jan.
Yep. Hey, may I call you Jiggly? Jiggly Caliente season 4. I'm so excited. She looks so good.
And
she's so pretty.
So pretty since she's transitioned. She's got those All Stars teeth.
She got them All Stars teeth.
She even says she's like, I'm down 50 pounds.
And she
looks so good. Her makeup is
on point.
Like it is
on point.
Like I can't words.
I'm so excited. I'm really excited about the next one. Pandora Box Season 2 and All Stars 1. She'll be our matron. She's our matron of the season. I'm so excited to see her Snatch Game. Because her Season 2 Snatch Game was amazing as Carol Channing. Mm-hmm. I want to see more. I love Pandora. She looks her makeup is also like otherworldly.
10 times better than she was on her original season. Her entrance look. I think it's my favorite of this. The entrance looks.
It was so good.
So beautiful. It was like this blue, glittery, like old Hollywood look, and she's got like the perfect finger waves, and like her makeup was on point. Like
I'm so here for
it. So beautiful. And she doesn't have a fucking Santino Rice.
Did she fucking like tear apart every look that like was too campy?
Or Amelia Verse, who like
destroys stuff before they start.
Yeah, just destroys all.
I'm excited. I'm excited to see Pandora without having anybody tear her down. Mm-hmm. Hopefully, fingers crossed. No, there should be like a person and a Ross Matthews will bring her up where she belongs. I think.
Yes.
All right,
Oh,
season 11, Raja O'Hara. I'm excited to see Raja not be a villain. I hope.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how she behaves.
And that's such a personality, and we're running out of time, so I'm going to push it forward. Scarlet Envy, season 11. That bitch is pretty.
I forget how pretty she is.
She's so pretty.
So fucking pretty.
And
the feeling's mutual.
And the feeling's mutual. Buy her merch. It's available now.
Which means he's either capitalizing on the moment or that bitch is going to be leaving pretty soon.
I'm going with that one. I mean, yeah, I might be proved wrong, but I'm going with that one. And then Serena Cha-Cha season 5, the one bitch everybody hated that season for no real reason.
Well, she said she was just so young.
She was a baby.
She was a baby, and she has grown so much, not just literally, but like as a person, and her drag aesthetic is so much more elevated.
I'm excited to see what she pulls out, but I'm least excited about her right now because her Meet the Queens was kind of boring. Like there wasn't a whole lot there. But I'm excited to see her prove me wrong, hopefully.
Yeah.
Or we may be coming right back and then like, so I was right. All of season 5 was right.
She's a whole person.
Okay, my favorite entrance, Silky Nutmeg Ganache. The bitch pulled out a glass of milk from her tit.
Yep. And fucking drink it.
And drink it.
And with a cookie.
With a cookie.
She took a cookie on one tit and a glass of milk on the other tit. It was like munch.
This is me elevating it. Also, that blue dress.
Oh, that blue dress was
everything.
Beautiful.
Everything.
Beautiful.
Everything.
Absolutely
I
stunning.
go for it.
And I'm hoping she is not using Sharpies for her eyebrows.
It look better.
So much better.
Kylie Sonique Love season 2.
Oh my god, I'm so ready to be confused by this woman. She's so goddamn sexy.
Notoriously sexually confused by Katya, and JJ will now be sexually confused by Kylie Sonique Love.
Oh,
she's so pretty.
And you know the first time she's just gonna strip on stage.
Absolutely.
She's gonna do it. I'm so ready.
So ready. And then we got the TKB from season 6. Trinity K.
Oh my god, yes. The original lipstick assassin.
God, I'm so excited.
And she's got the confidence now. And that's what you get to know.
And that's how you get to know.
Choppers.
Oh, no, not repeat. No way.
No, wait. Stop it.
Yeah, that's all we have. You'll have to Google who the last person is if you don't already know. And on that note, we're going to take a break.
Goodbye.
All right, we are back again.
Hi, Jan.
I'm living my fantasy.
You are fantastic.
As we all should be. We should all be living the fantasy. But hey, let's talk about Invincible.
Yeah, we're getting so close to the finale, and I'm so excited.
My restraint is getting harder and harder because I'm literally going to go home and watch episode 7. Like as soon as we name, I'm going to go home and watch this, and I'm going to be like, it's going to take all of my willpower. Spoiler alert: I have none. To not watch the next episode before we record.
But it's so good. It's one of my favorites. What just happened?
I'm not here next week.
Oh my god, we have to wait another week?
We have to wait 2 weeks.
Ah! You're killing me, Smalls.
Oh, but that means... Oh, you know what that means, though? Because Loki starts on the 10th, or on the 9th. What we're going to do is we'll watch both episodes because I'll be gone. So we can watch both episodes tonight.
All right, awesome.
And then we'll record it, and then it'll air before Loki starts.
Awesome.
You're welcome. I just put us out of our misery. Vacation to the rescue. Also, spoiler alert, I won't be here next week. So you won't be hearing my dulcet tones. You will be listening to JJ talk to Jonathan. And that's going to be exciting. Because they'll talk about everything I don't want to. And it'll be great because I'll actually listen to this entire episode because I don't have to listen to my voice. So let's talk about Invincible. I'm more excited about this now that I know I can watch those episodes today.
Yeah, it's hysterical.
Oh my god, our notes are going to be so long next time.
I know, it's going to be like pages. But like, we're the whole crux of this episode is Mark and Amber and his friend, I think his name is William?
Well,
yeah. and they go to like a college campus to because like Mark has just like been pummeled to fucking death. He's like, now I want a future.
He's like, I want to live a long life and not just be a superhero. I want to be able to have like a human life also, because I'm a human too.
Mm-hmm. So he's like, I'm thinking about going to college. So like, so they all three of them head up to one of the, I forget what fucking college it is.
It's like some like generic like West Side college or like West.
It's like what? It's like it looks like like those Ivy League old brick building college, whatever.
Oh, okay. So the cold open for this episode though was everything, because it's like introducing us to this college, and you have like this drunk guy who's like coming out of a bush. And at first I thought this was going to be like one of those like Brock Turner moments, and I was really scared for what his own was turning. And it turns out he was just a drunk guy, and he like scares off these sorority girls, and then. But I love because he's like, oh, my dad has all this money, and he's the
oh my god, typical privileged white boy.
And he's like, and he's funded all of this, and he looks over, and it's like just like some like random building. He's like, that's not right, and then he turns around the other way and goes, the campus. And you're like, oh, fuck. It's so dumb, and it was great. And then he gets kidnapped, and you're like, oh, okay.
Yeah, and not just kidnapped, you like. Gets fucking experimented on and like gets
like robot stuff.
Like he wakes up and there's like body parts with like cybernetic enhancements like hanging from the ceiling. He's like, "Oh fuck, this is what's happening to me." So we will find out later.
We'll find out later. So Mark and Amber and William go off to college to go tour the college because William's got a booth in there.
Oh yeah, he's got a boyfriend that attends the college that they've.
Yeah, they're not technically like together, but we find out later that they definitely slept together.
Oh yeah.
And yeah, it's great because Mark's like, I want to go with you, and I want to bring Amber, and Will's like, oh.
I guess I'm not.
Okay, I guess I won't be doing what I want this weekend. Cool.
Yeah, I guess you can come along, sure. I love them when the William boyfriend's name's Rick, and he comes up and is like, "Hey, I'm Rick. It's nice to meet you." So he takes their bags and like heads out and like leads them to his dorm, and the camera zooms in on his cartoon ass, and then William just goes. It's gonna be a great weekend. I'm like, that's so fucking stupid.
It's so stupid. But if it was me and you,
yeah,
it would have been exactly that.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was.
Okay.
Oh, this weekend is gonna go.
It's gonna be a great weekend. It's gonna be great. So they're off doing college things, and
in the meantime, Deborah is hardcore, like. Not trusting Nolan / Omni-Man because she finds his bloody costume.
Yep, she knows the things, and so she goes to go meet up with the guy who makes the superhero costume.
I don't know.
Mark Hamill.
Yeah, it's fucking. I just read that too. I was like, what the shit?
Yeah,
it's been Mark Hamill the whole time.
It's been Mark Hamill the whole time.
And I also found out that Rick is Jonathan Groff.
Yep.
And William is fucking Andrew Reynolds.
Yep.
You're like, holy shit.
Oh, and the bad guy was somebody, and I've already forgotten who it was. That's why.
Ezra Miller.
That's Ezra Miller. That's right. I figured that one out right away when I was listening to it. I was like, is that Ezra Miller?
Yeah.
And then, like, I was watching it on my computer, so you, like, move your mouse and it tells you who the cast is. And I'm like, this fucking Ezra Miller. This is a great cast. I love the people that they're able to get for this.
Yeah, that's one of the things I love about this show is that, like, the acting, the voice acting and the people that they're getting in is top notch.
Top notch.
Top notch.
But Deborah goes and talks to Mark Hamill, and Mark Hamill tells her that
yeah, he fucking killed him.
Yeah, like this is the way that like all of this blood splatter is and stuff. This is so and so's blood. This is so and so's blood, and they're like, fuck. But she's like, well, maybe they attacked him first for some reason.
Like,
and he goes, the oldest blood is right here, and that means that Nolan attacked first. And she's like, oh, well, fuck.
Yeah.
And so we jump back over to college, and they're, they sit on a college lecture, and they meet Ezra Miller, and he's a dick. And
and it's pretty clear, like from the get go, like, oh, this is the bad guy. This is the guy experimenting.
This is the villain of the week.
Yeah, this is the villain of the week. He's experimenting on people with robots. So.
Which I will say, this is the first time we've had like a real villain of the week kind of feel for like the main villain of like the thing. Like it's like everything's always felt like it's like tied into something larger, or had like more like real world like feels to like the rest of their lives. And this is like it wrapped up, and you're like, oh, that was it.
Yeah, and it didn't have any like larger implications on like some sort of like future conflict that's.
I was gonna say maybe with the robot tech at the end, because they're like, we got this, and I was like, oh, is the government gonna do bullshit with that? Maybe we'll get there when we get there.
Yeah, well, it may not even get addressed in this season.
I mean, we only have 2 more episodes.
So
there's a lot of bullshit that needs to happen. Yeah. So they're there, they're doing things, and then they get attacked by the robot guy.
The robot guy escapes.
And it was the robot guy from the beginning of the episode, who's kind of a douchebag, but still shouldn't have been a robot thing.
Probably shouldn't have been.
So he starts like attacking and doing things, and so Mark, runs for help. And Amber gets pissed because he left, but he comes in as invincible and starts beating the shit out of things, and he goes in to save Will, and as he's beating him up, Will's like down there and he sees him from like the underneath, like the shot was great of like the camera, like the perspective shot for the angle, and he's like looking up at him.
He's like, Mark? He's like, I can't talk right now. I'm a little busy. I'm trying to save your fucking life.
But I love that we finally have like somebody else knows who he is, which is nice, and it's his friend and who cares about him.
For sure. And I'm like, is he going to be the man in the chair? Is he going to be
his man in chair?
He's going to be his Ned.
We shall see. But he, and then he basically tells him, like, you can't tell.
Yeah, can't tell anybody.
You can't tell anybody. It's the secret. Yeah. And so Amber's pissed off at Mark, was like, how dare you leave me behind? Like, you left us behind to save yourself. You're a wuss, and I can't be with you right now.
And she's not
wrong,
technically. Like, he did abandon them. I mean, he did end up coming and saving them.
And it wasn't even like Mark left. Invincible came back, but she is not aware that the two are the same. And it's a big deal to be able to be like, this is my secret identity, because they're freaking teenagers. They could break up tomorrow for some other bullshit reason. Like, it's not one of those, I can tell you what's going on because this is, this will solve all my problems. She could leave because she knows. Like, this is not it's not something to take lightly. And I appreciate that every time he has kind of, it crossed his mind, he was like, no, I can't do this. This is not it. And it's not even one of those, this keeps you safe. This keeps everybody safe.
Mm-hmm.
And that's important.
I mean, that's kind of what it's that classic struggle of how do I keep my superhero persona and have a relationship with that person and keep that from them. Like having the whole point of having a relationship is that
you're open and honest.
You're open and honest, and you can't be open and honest with this one particular thing, and that's going to grate over time on the relationship, and it's coming to a head here.
It's coming to a head here, and it's also been a theme of the storyline underlaying with Deborah and Nolan.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, absolutely. The breakdown of their relationship. There's a lot of like relationship things happening here between, and even between like Omni-Man and Edna Mode. Later we get this really interesting scene where they're having beers together. Yeah. Even though Nolan knows that he killed.
Yeah.
It's a very kind of fraught scene, and then Mark's relationship with his dad. Even the relationship between Will and Rick in this episode gets like fucking torn to shreds.
Yeah, I mean it's all over the place.
It's all about like this episode is about like how relationships function in this superhero world and like the consequences of that, and that's really cool to see like all the different types of. Because then we get to see pretty quickly we'll see Adam, Eve, like. And her relationship with her parents and like what she ends up doing. She ends up like basically like.
Oh yeah, she leaves home.
And like starts a new life.
And living in a treehouse.
In a treehouse that she like built from her mind.
Yeah. I mean, she's definitely like doing her own thing and living her own life, and she's doing good. I remember like looking at like a review or like a reaction to this episode. They're like, I hope this isn't her origin story of how she becomes like a super villain.
Oh, that's interesting.
I was like, that's an interesting take. I don't get that, but I wouldn't put it past the show. But Rick gets captured at some point. Amber goes to a party. Mark goes after Amber because he's like, William, deal with your own bullshit. It's probably fine. I gotta deal with my problems. And then William ends up calling Mark and is like, no, this is sketchy. This is bad. He's like, no, it's fine. But all of a sudden he sees like a robot behind him. He's like, well, fuck.
I'm gonna say this now. Okay, fine.
And he's like sitting there at the party seeing Amber talk to some guy who you find out this guy already has a girlfriend and was just literally just like, hey, you should come to this party.
He's just being a nice dude and inviting this like person to a party that he's having.
Yeah. And he's like, oh man, but Amber, like he has that moment of hesitation, but he does the right thing by going to go help his best friend, which is what he should do.
Yes.
And so he goes off to go help William, and all the while, Omni-Man is having a beer with Mark Hamill. I see in your notes, this is where you discovered that is in fact Mark Hamill.
Yeah.
Oh my god, it's Mark Hamill! And yeah, because they're sitting up on like the roof of the tailor shop.
Yeah.
They're having beer and they're talking, and you're like, this is tense.
Because he's talking about like, we've had a really long relationship. Look at all the stuff that we used to do. And remember this? Those were good times, right? Those were good times, weren't they? Aren't we pals?
I'm
sir.
really hoping he didn't kill Mark Hamill. I literally, as we got to the end of the episode, I was like, I hope Mark Hamill's still alive. I hope Mark Hamill's still alive. Fuck, I hope he's still alive. But
we got 2 episodes to find out.
We got 2 episodes to find out. But Mark is off to go try to save William and Rick. But Rick's already a robot thing, sort of. And William is like about to be one, and then Mark comes in to save the day, but not really because he doesn't do very well. It's like a lot of happenstance happens.
Yeah, it's just like he ends up getting overwhelmed by like robots. Like the Rick robot holds invincible, and while the other like robot men kind of pummel him, and all the while like I guess the evil guy's name is D.A. Sinclair, which I think is such a really douchey bag sounding name.
Yep.
And he's like trying to turn William into a robot at the same time, but William's trying to like get to Rick. He's like, Rick, you know me.
Last summer we were together. We had sex.
And he's like, and then like
he starts
crying, and he's like, and then like pulls like something like a battery out of his brain.
Yeah, the whole thing that's controlling his brain.
And so like all of a sudden it's like, now I'm normal. I guess I'm
sort of.
Yeah, I'm not under the control of this guy anymore. So like
he helps, and they turn off all the other robots.
And so like the evil guy D.A. Sinclair's like, you guys are stupid. I'm trying to help humanity, and this is going to be the future. And Rex tries to run away, but then William's like, no, fuck you, dude. I'm going to tackle you and beat the fucking shit out of you.
Yeah, he was not here for that party. No. He just started like beat down. Obviously it wasn't that great because he like gets up again, and then Mark hits him, and his jaw like 8 inches.
Oh, it's the kind of gross.
It is like the stuff of nightmare fuel.
He just like backhands him, and his like whole jaw becomes like completely unhinged.
It was pretty great, and then Cecil and the government comes in.
Yep, they come in and kind of clean things up, and they're like, "Oh, we'll do the best to save Rick or whatever." And now I guess the government has all this like robot technology, who knows what the fuck they're gonna do with that.
Yep, and then I love that Mark and William get to have this really nice moment in like the dorm room afterwards, because like William was upset with Mark, but was like just went through such trauma and has nobody else to really lean onto, and they just have this really beautiful moment of like just like he just breaks down and they hug and they're like, we're gonna be all right. We're gonna deal with this, but we're gonna be all right. But it was crazy. And Amber is like asleep, in the other room, but she's like contemplating things, and because she feels hurt and betrayed by Mark.
Yeah,
and she's
from
not.
her perspective, from her perspective,
so.
it's very. Her feelings are very warranted.
Yeah, no, it's very valid feelings, but she's feeling hurt and betrayed, and Mark is not in a position to be able to tell her what happened unless she gets some of the information filtered down, like a filtered version from William about what happened. But we don't really know what the status of their relationship is at this point. And then Deborah finally just tells Nolan, she's like, I know you killed them.
I know you killed them. Why the fuck did you do that? They were your friends. They were our friends.
Yeah, and he's basically just pulling the you don't understand kind of thing. And she just goes, fuck you.
Fuck you, and throws the bottle of wine at him.
So good. And then he like punches a hole in the side of like their house, and then it's just sitting there brooding. And then we cut to a couple of teenagers digging up some the graves of the Guardians.
The Guardians, specifically the Immortal.
Yeah.
And he was the guy who got his head. He was.
Yes. So they're digging through because they're like, if we drink from his skull, we'll get powers too.
Yeah.
And so they're digging through, and you find out that one of the teens is the teen from the beginning of the show, and his stepdad.
His stepdad works at the White House because he says like, dude, my stepdad can lose his job at the White House for this if we get caught. And I was like, hey, that's the shithead kid that the guy was talking about. And he was like, ah!
And so, yeah, I appreciate that we see this again.
Yay!
But then the Mahler twins show up, and you're like, well, okay.
It's like, oh, this can't be good now.
And the episode's over.
And then we're like, but more, please. More, please.
More, please. So in 2 weeks, we'll talk about the final 2 episodes. Because our episodes drop on Monday, so we are aware that Loki will have dropped that morning, but we're not going to talk about it because we record on Mondays. So there's that. But we'll have the final 2 episodes of Invincible for us to plow through.
I mean, lovingly plow through. It's gonna be a sad moment when we get to that.
We're going to be sad because we're going to want more.
No, I want season 2.
I'm going to be sad, but also happy because that means we get Loki.
And then we get to start Loki.
And then we get to start Loki, which means we're that much closer to Black Widow. So excited.
Such excited.
Hey, JJ, did you watch The Queen's Gambit?
I did. I watched episode 2 this week. This is where we finally get older Beth.
Yes.
Gets introduced. We first find out that like young because she like overdosed on one of those tranquilizers is being punished by not being able to play chess or whatever with the janitor. Even though she's like still able to play it in her mind on the ceiling, so it's like not that big of a consequence. But now she's now apparently 13, but from
sure.
No, the headmaster is literally says that she's 13.
I'm saying sure because the actress is definitely not 13.
Oh yeah.
Like, sure, we'll go with 13.
Yeah, this full-grown woman, I guess, is a 13-year-old.
That's fine.
And she gets adopted.
She gets adopted.
And it's clear that the mother is more into it than the father. Right from the get-go.
Absolutely.
But it's really cute because it's during while she's like packing up her things and goes, she's like, I can't find my book. Where'd my book go? And I'm like, Jolene was like, I think the implication, and that's what I'm reading it as, is like, Jolene is like sad she's leaving, so she's like, I'm gonna take this book.
Yeah.
I don't know, either as a keepsake or just to be like, this is my way of like lashing out, like because it's clear that Jolene is not going to be adopted anytime soon.
No, because Jolene was even older than Beth.
Jolene's definitely older than Beth, and even in the first episode, Jolene was like, you're either too old or too black.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
And she is both of those things.
Yeah.
So it's clear that she's going to be there for
until she's 18.
Indefinitely.
Yeah.
but we finally get to see Beth leave and and she gets to like this really nice like suburban neighborhood. It's very like 50s cookie cutter.
Yep, it's very that.
It's very, dad goes to work during the day, mom has dinner ready at night.
Yeah.
Comes back. It's very Meet the Beavers.
But not.
But not really, because we quickly learn that like, oh, something's going on between
Mom and dad.
Like things are not good.
Yeah, the dad goes on business trips.
Yeah. And like just leaves them for like weeks.
Weeks at a time. At some point, I think you start to kind of realize that she kind of has like an allowance, the mom does, of like what she can spend, which is also very that of the times.
That's very sign of the times. That she gripes later in the episode that like, oh, we're not gonna have enough money until Mr. Wheatley comes home from his business trip, because it's clear that she's only been given
so much money
to budget over while he's not there. But yeah, it's clear that like from the get-go there's like issues in the household.
I love your note. The mom seems sad. It's probably because her husband's kind of a dick.
I mean, he's not a pleasant man. He's not a pleasant man. He's very like, he's like classically very detached.
Mm-hmm.
Very like I think they're outside and he's like, she's trying to plead to him to like keep the car while he's on his trip. He's like, no, I don't want, you're an awful driver. I'm going to take the car, or some, some shit like that. And he's just like, just kind of mean and rude.
Yeah, no, he's a dick.
He's kind of a dick. The mom actually is a wonderful piano player.
I know, I saw that also, that you're like, she's playing the piano. That would have been the end of my note. You're like, nope, I'm going to tell you exactly what she's playing.
Because she's playing the Satie's Nasia #1 in the first time we see her at the piano at the beginning, where I think it's her Beth's first day at school.
Yeah.
Mom's, sitting playing this really sad song at the piano. You're like,
You're like, but you're really good, because you would know.
And so she explains that like, yeah, I wanted to be a performer once, but got married and got pregnant, and clearly there's not a baby or another kid around, so it must have been a failed pregnancy or something happened. And maybe that's why the dad's a dick. Like, he blames her for that failed pregnancy, and that's, like, causing a rift between them. Like, there's never a real explanation.
They never really tell you. You're just like, oh, this man sucks.
Yeah.
But Beth goes to school, and school sucks.
Yeah, all the, it's the shitty, like, all the kids, like, poke at her and fun at her because she's, like, not wearing the coolest clothes, or, like, all this bullshit. And, like,
because they shop at, like, the discount store because they only have so much money to spend on her. Because the dad's hoarding the rest of the money because he's a jerk.
Because he's an ass. And they even, like, make fun of her because she got a question right in math class. And they're like, oh my god, a fucking nerd. I'm like, oh my god.
Yep, it's that trope.
It's that, all that kind of thing. But she hears that, she like, is at lunch sitting alone, and she's like, I need to find the chess. I need to find somewhere I can play chess. And so she finds this random and like, hey, is there chess bugs here or whatever? And they're just like, I don't fucking know.
My girls don't play chess.
Girls don't play chess. You can be a cheerleader though. And she's like, oh god.
And she's fully over it.
No.
She plays chess in her mind at home because they can't afford to buy her a chess set.
Yeah, and like even there's a moment where like the dad even says like, does she have to fucking change like her clothes? And the mom's like, no, we probably should get you some new clothes. So they go to like the discount section, and while she's there, they're like, oh, look at the chess sets. I like chess. And the mom's like,
save your money. I'll give you an allowance.
Yeah, I'll give you an allowance, and then you can save your money to buy one because I don't want to buy one for you.
Because like it wasn't super expensive, but it was enough expensive to be like in this more than.
It's like I can't do this right now. I can't swing this at the moment.
I do love the very 1950s trope of go buy me cigarettes, here's a note.
Mm-hmm.
And it's very much a thing that you could do.
Yeah, because I mean,
he was like, all right, here's your cigarettes.
Here's your cigarettes. And I love the fact that like she finds a chess
magazine
in the shop while he's like filling the script, or she's just like walking around and looking, and the guy's like, "You need to fucking buy that if you're gonna read it." And then she's like, "But I have no money." And so he's like, "Oh, I don't fucking care."
Yeah.
But so she gets the cigarettes. She goes out and she's like, "You know what? I'm gonna get that fucking magazine." So she buys a newspaper for like pennies or whatever. She like walks up to the magazine rack while the guy's distracted and mops that fucking magazine, puts it in the newspaper, and walks out. I'm like, Beth, there's moments where you're like, Beth is kind of like this very timid character, and then you get moments like this where you're like, oh, she's got an edge.
It's that orphanage edge.
It's that orphanage edge. It's like, that's Jolene right there.
That's
a little bit of Jolene.
Yep, right there.
It's like we might not see her, but we feel her presence in moments like this. And I think that's really cool because it gives the character of Beth a little more dimension. So like, oh, because she could easily play like, oh, I'm a poor orphan child, and I got shitty parents, but I also like I steal shit and kind of enjoy that.
And then while reading that magazine, Beth finds out that there is a chess tournament.
And she's like, yes, I want to enter, but there's an entrance fee and I has no money.
It's $5.
$5 entrance fee, and she's like, I want to do it.
Hey, new mom, can I go do this thing? And she's like, nope, we ain't got the money for that. And so she writes her janitor friend for the money and says, I promise I'll pay you back. And then he reads this note and was like, okay.
Yeah, I'll send you the money.
And then he mails her, he eventually mails her the money, and she's just like,
and it's exciting because like now she gets to like actually participate in this activity that she really likes.
And it turns out that her mom is on the same vitamins that she was on at the orphanage.
Yeah, because mom gets sick and she's like, oh, can I fill this prescription for me? She goes to the the same guy and gets the prescription filled, and he hands it to her, and she's like, oh, it's the green pills.
And so she slowly starts like mopping her mom's prescription.
I love the mom even makes a remark. She's like, oh, they really don't fill these all the way, these bottles all the way full.
They really light on this prescription now. And she's just
like, I don't know. And she's like in her room, like, gobble, gobble, gobble.
Munch, munch, crunch, crunch.
Munch, crunch, crunch.
But so she's like, she's enjoying like her little pill problems. And she gets to enter the tournament because Mr. Janitor Man gave her money.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, you're a girl.
You're a girl. You're not supposed to be here. You can be like, and they kind of chastise her because you're not ranked.
Yeah.
How dare you?
And there's definitely elitist.
There's a super elitist attitude mixed with like latent sexism. And it's just like and she has no time for their shit.
Yeah.
She's like, well, put me in the fucking tournament with all the other ones so I can get ranked. She's like, well, you gotta wait for weeks or months to get ranked. She's like, no, I just want to fucking do it now. Just put me with all the good players. She's like, well, you can just start with this.
You start with the other girl players.
The one other girl player.
And she fucking just like wipes the floor.
Oh yeah, like it's no contest.
And then she becomes friends with Dudley Dursley.
Oh yeah, Dudley Dursley's there because he's a chess. I think aspiring grandmaster is what I think is what they were.
Yeah, he's a state champion.
State champion. He's working to become a grandmaster. She's like, okay, I'm gonna get this motherfucker. I guess chess tournaments take multiple days, and so like at the end of the first day, she's like clearly
a lot better than they thought she was gonna be.
Like the dudes at the front desk that like deal with all like the paperwork and stuff, they're like kind of shocked how like quickly she completes games and like how quickly she's rising in the tournament. She meets a cute chess guy.
That's the cute chess man.
And he's like super impressed. He's the only other person that like actually acknowledges her talent.
Yeah.
Rather than like, oh, you're a girl, what the fuck?
Oh yeah, they play for a while and then she just fucking like mops him.
Mm-hmm. And he's like, good game.
Yeah, you did well.
He's like, you did well. Like a fucking normal person. And not be like, boo, I gotta be that girl.
And then she goes and beats a girl by becoming a woman in the bathroom by having her first period.
She has her first period and
is given a tampon and immediately doesn't know how to deal with it.
And I'm like, because what she ends up doing, she's like, I don't know what to do with like this, throws it away.
Yeah.
Grabs a wad of toilet paper.
Yep.
And shoves it in. I'm like, oh, baby girl, no.
I mean,
oh, baby girl, no.
I will say that as a woman, that is something that you do when you don't have anything. Because otherwise, it is just a pool of blood that is leaking down the side of your leg.
Mm-hmm.
So you do what you have to.
Do what you gotta do. But, and it's clear that, like, she needs a mom. She needs a mom. She
needs her new mom to be a real mom. And
not just like, oh, give me more pills. And there's also, like, I think in the next scene, actually, she's at the piano again, and she's playing Satie's GBP #1, by the way.
Thanks for that.
And there are, like, empty beer cans on top of the piano, so, like, she's clearly also, like,
she's good. She's got her demons.
She's got her demons. And so, like, fucking peas in a pod, these two. But she's like, Mom, I need help with tampon things. And so she's like, yeah, we'll just go grab some.
Go to the bathroom, grab what you need to. And she's like, okay, I'm also going to take some.
I'm going to take your pills, too.
Yep, I'm going to take some medicine.
I'm going to take my own medicine. Thanks.
And then Dad has abandoned their family. That's why Mom's going on a venture.
Yeah, so she's kind of, and it's, I think he's, like, left her. I think that's pretty.
No, he left.
Like he's abandoned them.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm gonna be gone. I'm not returning.
Yep. And then we find out though that during that time period, because she would be a now single mom, that the orphanage would be in the rights to take that back.
Mm-hmm.
And her mom goes, "Go lie."
What they don't know can't hurt them.
Basically. So they're gonna. She's gonna lie and she's gonna learn how to be a good mom.
Mm-hmm.
And so Mom finally shows her how to use, sanitation napkins, and we get to see the last day of the tournament.
Dudley Dursley is fucking late because he's like, I want an extra coffee. It's really because he didn't want to fucking do this match with this girl.
Yeah.
He's like, ugh, I have to do this goddamn thing.
Yeah. I love that you're like, they begin playing, this is less hot.
Oh, because it was, like, when she was playing Cute Chess Man, she was like, ooh. Every time she was like, ooh, night.
Yeah.
And there was sexual tension clearly between them.
Yeah.
It is less hot with Dudley Dursley.
There is no sexual tension.
No sexual tension here. And this is the first time we get to see Beth struggle a little bit.
Yeah.
Like, this is the first time, like, she's been playing good players. My assumption is. But this is like a top state champion.
Yeah, this is the best player she's
played. This is the best players that she's played up to this point. And it's not going the way she's planned. So I think at one point, she just like gets up and leaves and goes to the bathroom. And she's like, God, I need to collect myself. I can fucking do this. He's a piece of shit. I'm going to fucking murder him. She's like pep talking to herself.
Yeah. And then takes some tranquilizer pills for clarity.
Some happy pills for
clarity.
Clarity, I suppose. And then
for clarity, and she goes back, and then she beats the shit out of him.
And to the point where she's like, "We can just end this now. We don't have to play anymore." And he's like, "No, I'm gonna fucking do it. I'm gonna do this." And she's like, "Okay."
Yeah. Instead of just being like, "Okay, you win," he fights it out, but still loses.
And so she wins. I think $100 is the
something like that.
So
she wins the money. And then Mom realizes that she doesn't have to get a job. She just has to be her kid's manager.
Absolutely. This is the original momager.
Momager.
comes into play here because she's like, I've been looking through this chess magazine that you brought home, and there's a chess tournament in Cincinnati where the first prize is $500, and I calculated if we stay at this hotel at this rate for this many nights, and like fully going through the whole scenario
of how they can make
the most money out of this. And she's like, but what about school? She's like, no, you have mono.
You're sick. It's fine.
You're sick. It's fine. I'll take you out of school.
I'm sick.
And then
the episode ends, and are you excited for the next one?
Oh yeah, because I am looking forward to seeing Momager mishappen and the messiness that this is going to cause.
It's going to be great. You have a lot to look forward to. And we're going to take another break.
Wow. Oh my God, I cannot with the housing market right now, Joanna.
Have I not told you about Capital Realty Center?
Oh, the premier realty group that supported and succeeded throughout the California landscape? Now I remember.
If that's what you're looking for, call Kathy Johnson at 916-606-0687 to win that next bid.
That's Kathy Johnson with Capital Realty Center at 916-606-0687. License number 02021378.
Guess who's back? Back again.
We're back. Tell a friend. Oh,
Please.
Please tell
Tell
friends.
friends. Hey, we got a whole bunch of cool shit coming up.
Have you guys seen the trailer, for the teaser trailer for Cobra Kai season 4?
I did. It's really short.
It's very
Because I
short.
said last night during our delusion, I was like, I haven't watched this trailer yet. And you're like, it's like 20 seconds. So I was
It's like 20 seconds of the looking at the back of this person, but like it's the teaser is that we're going to see the evil dojo master from
Silver, another. Okay, I'm not gonna lie, I really enjoyed the Cobra Kai series. I enjoyed the Karate Kid movies. I am not one of those super
I could not tell you the lore of this.
I like as you see different characters pop up, you're like, oh yeah, I remember this because you're giving me the flashback from the original movie.
Which is super helpful. Thank you, Cobra Kai.
But yeah, we got a season 4 trailer. I don't think we have a release date yet, but
It's like sometime in like 2020 or 2022 or something like that, or possibly at the end, like even in the fall. I don't know. They just finished, I think, filming.
at some point we'll get it. We may either get it late this year or sometime next year. Who knows? But it's coming.
Yeah.
We'll know when we get a full trailer.
Mm-hmm.
We get more than just the back of that one dude's head.
For sure. There's this new show that kind of caught my eye only because the girl who plays, I forget her name, it's Amber Smith, I think. Don't quote me on that. I don't know her actual name. She played on Schitt's Creek, the sister.
Oh yeah,
Homegirl. She's in a new show on AMC called Eric Can Go Fuck Himself. With all the fun italicized, like to bleep out the 45. But it's an interesting concept of a show because it blends both the very typical like sitcom scenario.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, it's like filmed in a very similar like style.
Yeah.
And it's about a woman. She's like the typical housewife, very honeymooners.
Okay.
The husband, and he kind of doesn't really deserve the wife, and the wife is kind of has is very underappreciated, all that kind of stuff. But it's very stylized sitcom like filter, and then it quickly changes to like a more gritty version because she like contemplates like killing him.
I love that.
And because he's like a complete asshole,
Yeah.
he like completely degrades her and like is not a great person to her. And so it's this really cool because you see like when it's sitcom mode, they even have like a laugh track. They make really corny jokes in the whatever like situation they're in, and then there's a moment. It's very similar to like in WandaVision where you get those like weird moments, and like something like that happens, and then like the filter changes and like it's a completely different like color format. It's more gritty. It's darker. It's a really cool sort of concept, and that's what like I
It's like a PG-13 WandaVision without the magic.
without the magic, but like ups the like drama and potential violence. I don't know how violent this is going to be.
I'm here for it, but it airs in June.
Airs June 20th. You can on AMC. You can catch if you have AMC Plus. You get it a week earlier.
I don't have any
I
AMC
don't know.
Plus.
I didn't even know AMC Plus was a thing.
I didn't either. Cool, more streaming services.
Awesome. But that's
Wow. Well, this one already came out. I'm excited.
Rugrats reboot.
It has the original cast for all the babies. Susie Carmichael has a bigger role. The animation is slightly Nightmare Fuel.
Yeah, it's kind of Yeah. I don't know how to describe it.
It's not the choice I would have made, but Phil and Lil's mom is a lesbian.
Out and proud.
Out and proud, doing her life.
So bringing the Rugrats to the 21st century.
Available on Paramount Plus.
Yeah, it's already started. The episodes dropped May 27th. So when we made this list, it was definitely before May 27th. But
it's the thing. We haven't watched yet. I would plan on.
Shane and I watched like the first 20 minutes or so before we had to go to work.
Yeah.
It's pretty cute. Like it's very much like old school Rugrats. They eat mud. They have meat pies. Chucky is still a fucking pussy. Scared of everything. I'm trying to think. I think Phil and Lo's mom owns like a coffee shop.
Okay.
At this in this reboot.
I can't remember
I
what
guess
she
the
did.
grandpa's like now more of a hippie. He does
Instead of like an old World War II veteran.
Yeah, he's more like a hippie. He does like yoga in the yard.
Good for him.
And like tries to set. He like has the babies like center their chi with him or something like that.
Okay.
Yeah, we didn't get to the whole thing. We only saw like a little bit of it.
Yeah.
But it's interesting. Like,
well, I hope it does well.
I'm just glad to hear like Tommy Pickles and his
little voicing
his
of
little voice, and it's like, oh, my childhood.
Speaking of childhood, the Jungle Cruise movie that will be out June 30th. And has a full trailer.
Yep, stars The Rock.
Dwayne Rock Johnson and Miss Emily Blunt.
Yeah, Mary Poppins is in it.
Mary Poppins, yeah. I'm excited. Can we do a podcast on the Jungle Cruise? I'm going to push this until. So really, what we need to happen, friends, is we need more people listening to us so we can make more money, get more sponsors, donate money to us, because I would like us to go on a company retreat to Disneyland where we record a podcast.
Won't that be fun? You would love to listen to that. You know it.
You know you want it. It'll be great. It'll be a recording nightmare because there'll be so many voices.
So much extra sound.
So much extra things, but we'll make it happen.
And this Jungle Cruise movie is giving me very much like old school The Mummy vibes.
Oh, it's very The Mummy. It's
very much
very like Mummy meets Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
Starring The Rock.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of here for it.
Yeah.
I don't even mind that there's some weird, like, convoluted story that makes real no sense to the story at all. Don't care. We're going to see animals, and we're going to see boats, and I want there to be bad puns, like on the Jungle Cruise. So please give me bad puns from Dwayne Johnson. And I'm excited to watch it. The trailer looked fun.
Yeah. So that drops on Disney Plus June 30th.
Disney Plus and in theaters. I'm sure this will be a Disney Plus Premier Access. So you'll probably have to drop your $30 again to watch it on Disney Plus. Or you can go to the movie theater to watch it there if you're vaccinated and wear your mask.
For real.
Word.
M. Night Shyamalan has a new movie out called Old.
July 23rd.
July 23rd.
I'm excited to see if it's good M. Night Shyamalan or the happening M. Night Shyamalan.
Yeah, it's
there are ranges in M. Night Shyamalan.
Yeah, he's got quite the checkered past. I really liked one of his more recent films, The Visit. From the trailer, we gather that it's this group of people they're vacationing on this beach, and they find that while they're on this beach, they age significantly quicker. Like the children all of a sudden turn into teenagers while they're there, and they're not there for that long. So they're trying to figure out what's going on, why is it happening? They find dead bodies, and I'm sure some crazy shit's going to be going
And it'll be some weird twist where, I don't know, it was the wind all along.
It was the plants the whole time.
Oh, garbage. But yeah, I don't know. Go see it in the theater, I guess. Okay, here's what we're all here for. The Respect trailer has dropped. It comes out August 13th. I saw the trailer while I was at the movie theaters watching Cruella. I got so excited because it's starring a one Jennifer Hudson, as handpicked by Aretha Franklin before she passed. So you know it's going to be good. And playing Aretha Franklin's mom is one Audra McDonald.
The cast of this is
And playing her father is one Forrest Whitaker. Playing, I think it's supposed to be her husband, is going to be Marlon Wayans. The music sounds phenomenal because it's Jennifer Hudson singing, who can do no wrong. We stand Jennifer Hudson too, because her and Kelly sang together, and it was everything.
Divinity.
Everything. So August 13th, we will be seeing this in theaters. JJ may feel a thing or two in his heart.
Yeah, there might be another crack in the old
ticker there.
The old ticker.
Lucifer was announced for one more season. It's going to have one more final season. I'm excited. I like Lucifer. I still
never saw an episode.
I still haven't seen the second half of season 5, but I'm going to watch that, and I'll be excited for it to all wrap up into a nice, pretty little bow. It should be great. Tom Ellis is hot.
Indeed. Indeed.
And he plays the piano, and he sings.
Indeed.
And in every episode, he plays the piano and sings.
Indeed. I'll probably never watch this then.
Probably not, but it's still worth it. It's still good. We finally have official confirmation of something we already knew. Oscar Isaac is going to play Moon Knight.
I don't know much about Moon Knight, but apparently he's got multiple personalities, and one of which is channels like the Egyptian Ra god.
Something like that.
Something like that. That's interesting. And then we haven't had like a split personality like superhero.
I know very little about this. Sometime in 2022, we'll know more.
Yeah.
But I like Oscar Isaac. I'm excited that he's going to be doing this. Like I said, probably one of those worst kept secrets of the MCU. MCU is getting really bad at secrets.
I mean, I didn't know about it, but
I follow a lot more nerdy MCU shit than you do. But yeah, and then finally to wrap it all up, Clay Aiken. American Idol fame, who also ran for Senate or something like that, or governor.
In Virginia, something like that.
Yeah. Used to be a special needs teacher. He's cool people. We like him. Friend of the pod. He's going to produce a drag queen news show called Newsbeat.
This is such a wild concept.
It's so out there and bizarre. I'm so ready for it. It will star some Rude girls, Nina West, Bianca Del Rio. Who else did I say? Lady Bunny. Lyle, who I don't know who Lyle is, but you better work. And Delta Work.
Love Delta.
I love Delta. See something. Because Shaw Girls are going to be on the show, and so it says that it's going to be a serious daily news show for the next generation of viewers. They will center around hard news headlines, political analysis presented by Nina West and Bianca Del Rio. Each episode will highlight 2 or 3 top news stories of the day. A guest panel of political pundits will join the anchors via satellite to discuss the biggest stories. Each episode will also feature a pre-taped field package with one of the correspondents interviewing a major newsmaker or politician. This is really exciting. We don't have I have yet to find an actual air date or where we're going to find this. But we know it's happening.
It's going to be happening.
But it's happening, and that's really all that matters at the end of the day, is that we're getting drag queens and hard news.
Ooh.
And it's not just about hard-ons, because that's what we usually get from drag queens. So, I'm excited. Are you excited?
Such excite.
And
Such a bizarre little thing, but yeah.
it's so much. But I think that's it.
Yes, that's the end of our podcast. Thank you for listening to our stupid little Nobody Asked Our Opinion podcast. You can send us an email with any and all of your opinions at nobodyaskoutopinion@gmail.com. You can follow us on Instagram at Nobody Asked Our Opinion. If you don't do podcasting things and rather you just watch YouTube, you can find us on YouTube too. At Nobody Asked Our Opinion Podcast. Follow Joanna on Instagram at
Shelly Snow 2006.
and me at pianoman_05. Please follow our unpaid intern at the Third Rural Creative. Her name is Natalia. You should know that. And please follow our producer Jonathan at Jelly Sound. Please rate and leave a review and tell all your friends about us so that we can manipulate algorithms so we can become more famous.
More famous. Make us famous so we can talk to Kelly Clarkson.
So we can talk to Kelly Clarkson and have her sing for us.
That's our goal in life.
Okay,
Kelly Clarkson.
bye.
Okay, bye.